Yeah, you'll hear there's a little wood block instrument that hopefully nobody plays every time. So from here, yeah, wah, as it comes around. Good. But from that moment, Mandy, let's say it's you. Can you come across to Robbie J like Lindsay does in the first part?
My name is Faith Jensen-Ismay. I'm the artistic director of Mojalet Dance Collective. Mojalet Dance Collective was founded in 1991 with myself and Linda Zambrano and Mary Nuru. And we started as an organization that was really to service the community and find a platform for dancers post-college was a big mission for me. And then as dancers stayed around and continued to dance with us, in 2003 we formed a 501c3 organization. And in 2008, Mojalet opened the Black Box Theater at the Bernardo Winery called the Vine Theater. And for me, I've personally been dancing and a part of the San Diego community since 1985. After I got married, I moved back to San Diego and started dancing with Gene Isaacs and Nancy McCaleb with Three's Company Dancers, then moved on to Isaacs McCaleb and Dancers, and then Gene Isaacs San Diego Dance Theater, while I was working with Mojalet at the same time. And I did most of my formal training at Palomar College here in San Diego State and have been excited to be part of the college community at Palomar College for 17 years in SDSU and UCSD. So I feel that San Diego is my home, both where I trained and where I've invested my energy as a choreographer. Style is a good question. When we were in Europe, they said it's hard to describe exactly what you do because we sort of encompass so many different forms, but Mojalet is a combined word or series of words. Mojalet combines modern jazz and ballet, so it was the idea that it didn't keep us combined to one platform. So most of the work has a blend of, sometimes it will look a little more classical, maybe has a little edgy jazz flair sometimes, but the base form is a blend of modern dance from my eclectic training that I've had.
Okay, face choreography, it's different than, because I come from like the ballet background, ballet, jazzy, tappy, so it's kind of fitting to be like in the Mojalet where we do a little bit of everything. But I would say she's the quirky lady, so that's something that I'm not, like I wasn't used to prior to coming here because we were, everything's kind of more technical and like typical, and we don't kind of expect, but just, having a lot of fun with stuff and, doing all these odd, crazy movements that normally you're not allowed to, but you can because it's choreography. So it's something different that I really enjoy.
She's also really athletic, so it's fun to be able to fly around and do flips and, all this floor work. She's pretty well-rounded, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say quirky. I'm probably a quirky person. I don't necessarily always go with what everybody's doing necessarily, and I think that can be a good thing to do. I like to find humor in things, even if it's a serious subject. Finding humor could be in the movement or finding little twists. I like to embellish a lot. Actually had a couple people a few years ago asked me if I studied dance in Bali, because I like to articulate down to the hands and use a lot of gestures. So yeah, I guess quirky is a good way to describe me.
This.
Yeah, a lot
this
of
hand. She loves this
peacock
hand.
fingers. A lot of like arches and angles, I guess you could say. A lot of
butt.
Butt out.
A lot of butt.
Some like heads and sharp accents. That kind of thing.
Yeah. When you see it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we've been dancing for Faith for a really long time, so we sort of know her type of movement, her style, like her terminology, just kind of her vocabulary. We kind of understand her movement vocabulary. So the thing that I enjoy most right now in the process is that we can move quickly through things, and we kind of can understand what she is asking from us because we know her well.
The creative process is so interesting for me because the motivation and the inspiration comes from so many different sources. Sometimes it comes from an idea I've had. I use nature a lot, and music. Nobi Lehman with Rhythm Talk, Nobi, Ruby, and Christoph, and I have been working together for quite a while, and some of the inspiration comes from their music, and some of it comes from an idea I had that we've collaborated to make original music. But I would say the dancers are often a medium that makes sense as I put them together and find out what's the energy of the group of people that I have to work with for this specific project. And sometimes the inspiration comes with, okay, how many people can we take on this project? And if I'm making a dance for 5 people, sometimes that changes the energy or dynamics or a duet. But I would say I'm inspired by music a lot. And that's why this collaboration that I'm working on with Rhythm Talk is so special. Then to have them create the music for us and then be there to play it for us live is pretty awesome. I was teaching in Switzerland in, I would say in the late 90s, and someone gave me a CD of their music, of Rhythm Talk's music, and I sat on it for a long time, every now and then play, but one year, I guess 2005, 7 years later or so, I choreographed a piece, Mantis actually, on a young dancer. And we were going to be in Switzerland performing and happened to be in their town. So I told this woman who was curating this master class and workshop that we were doing an informal performance, I said, can you invite the musicians, tell them I made a dance to one of their pieces of music, see if they'll come watch it and tell me what they think and if it's okay if I even do that. And so Christoph Latner was able to come to the performance and he saw it, and the woman from the festival loved the idea that we used their music and they liked the choreography. And so they had a meeting with us the next morning and tried to set us up to bring us back basically 5 months later to perform in the huge Thompson Olsen Festival. And so that was a big deal. That was 2006.
Then they ask us if you can play that live. So we said, yeah, we can do that. And we start 2005 in Switzerland together. We played and he danced all live in the moment. As said, to begin, it's to next year we have 10 years work together. Yeah. And so we started the work together. And something he sent me some choreography with music, and he asked me, you can make other music of this dance. And so I compose, and then we have rehearsal together with Rhythm Talk. We make the arrangement, and then I give Faith the music, and so we work together. Yeah.
And then since then annually I've been going to Europe, and so this is their 3rd trip here, and I've been going there every year, and somehow we connect either with performances there or rehearsals or meetings, and then they've created I don't know how many original compositions specifically for Mojalet, but this particular concert we have at least 4 that they've composed especially for us. The collaboration process with Rhythm Talk is unique because there's no one way that we like to do it. A few of the works, I asked them what would they like to see danced to, something they've already composed. And so they gave me a couple, and so I chose those. But more lately, we've been working with this idea that if I've had an idea, I create the choreography, and I've been sending it via email and Dropbox and whatever medium we can use. And then Nobi watches it and composes the music and then brings it back. just recently they were commissioned to make a new piece and said, what do you think about making a dance to this? So then we had a rehearsal in Switzerland, and we talked about the ideas that I could use and they can use. And so the process is so open because they're willing to even recompose or restructure, rearrange a piece that they've already, laid down in a CD and reconstruct it for us to work the purposes of the dance. And we're also open to, shifting our choreography a little bit to make it work for how their sound is. So it's a great give and take relationship that we respect what each other needs. I respect what they need in terms of having certain parts of their music not compromised, and they understand that sometimes we can't move at the pace that the music is moving for that long, and so they need to shift for us to move into a new direction. I don't know if I have a favorite piece, but I think, each one has a special place in my heart. Pulse is one of the pieces that I premiered with a good friend of mine, and so that will always have a special place in my heart for the friend Pulse and Mantis, the opportunity to choreograph on such a unique individual and then to bring it back and set it on other dancers and see it translated is exciting. Stiletto, the chance to have an edginess about us that we often don't have, for the dancers to get to be sassy on stage is kind of fun. And I think Pursuit has been something that's really stands strong, that aggressive nature. Yeah, I don't know if I have one favorite. I like them all, and I liked watching the dancers get to bring out different aspects of their artistry in the different work.
I actually really enjoy Pursuit, which is one of the dances we're doing. And I like my part in Pursuit. It's fun because there's a lot of really cool partner work.
I would probably say Mantis. I groan whenever I have to do it because it's really, really hard, but but it's really fun, and it's actually fun doing it with Faith. It's a solo into a duet, because I've actually never partnered with her ever on stage, so it's actually really fun to be able to do it with the original person.
I love it. And dancing with live music is always really special. And the drums and the percussion, just the vibrations on the floor, just really brings the
powerful
whole thing to life. Yeah.
Yeah, the interesting thing for Stiletto is there's a factory in Switzerland that apparently was a stiletto factory, and they closed the factory and made it, I guess, some sort of community center kind of. And so actually Rhythm Talk was commissioned to make a piece for the opening of this building, I believe. And so when he said he wanted to make a piece stiletto, my first thought was, oh, of course we wear high heel shoes. And then I started to really reflect on what stiletto is. And stiletto is really an edgy kind of a knife or a dagger. And it has this edgy feel that's not necessarily just about shoes, but about this harsh energy and abrasive. So I started to play with that idea and sort of mingling in the concept of what the shoes represent. And the shoes really represent, I think, this sort of thrashy kind of sharp edge that isn't necessarily just about shoes. It can be about a personality as well. And so when they first asked me, I went, I don't know about dancing in shoes, but the fact that we're trying it and we're doing it is kind of fun.
I know.
The new one, stiletto.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little
It's
sassy.
gonna be sassy. We're all in high heels, boys included, so it's fun. Yeah, it'll be something different
whole new
for
experience.
us. Yeah.
Sometimes I get my inspiration from weird places. I often get my inspiration from recycled goods, actually. So one of our pieces, Sail, was a donation from Hunter Industries. They had these things, I call them props, but they didn't call them props, that they no longer needed and were going to donate to us. And so our board president works for the company, and she called me and said, do you happen to have any need for these? I said, well, bring me one and let me see. And so she brought me one of these, we call them Dorito Sails, but it's a basic canopy that you would use as a shade cover. And I played around in the studio with it to see what we could do. And so we have these 6 beautiful canopies that were the inspiration for the whole opening of one of our pieces called Sail. And so that's a funny inspiration because sometimes I sit on those. I've had them for a while and going, I know this could be a great dance sometime. And so, and Transparency also was something like that. They were giving away big cubicles, and Transparency is a popular piece that we made together, Rhythm Talk, and beautiful cubicles that, you know, I had for 3 years before I finally they could manifest themselves into the work. So sometimes the idea is there for a long time, and I put it in a box until the right time.
I think with Faith, one thing is she, maybe more, some of the other ones I know, it's kind of like they'll give you something and you kind of work with it in improv, and it's a little bit like slower, and it's like, okay, now how do you two work together, and da-da-da-da-da, and it just takes longer to get somewhere, whereas I think Faith, she usually has an idea, and she's ready to go, and kind of gives you phrases, gives you steps, and so a little more structured, I guess, in that way than bringing in a whole lot of like the improv or, you know, have this idea, make up some counts, and then we'll throw it in kind of thing. I got a lot of that in previous times.
I'll say she works more with like traditional partnering too, like one-on-one, whereas I dance for Malashok dance. It's more like big groups and like who can we throw across the stage and run over and catch them. It's like crazy things that are going to kill you. So she's a little more tame on that side for sure, I guess the whole postmodern movement right now is a little more pedestrian, so it's like movement that like anyone off the street could do. It's like doesn't really require too much training, I guess. Well, it does, but so she likes to move. Like she doesn't like to just stand there for 5 minutes.
And it's, you know, the whole like 7 or 8 minutes is like dancing. So you're running and you're going, you're doing it up and down, and a lot of times, I mean, Andy does his Mantis piece is beautiful because he dances for like 12 hours straight. But it's, you know, usually we're kind of all on stage a lot too, so you may run off and come back right on, you know. So there's not a lot of breaks built into it either. So you're kind of charging the whole way through. Yeah.
So finding dancers for me is a unique process. Most of the dancers that are working with me have been working with me for a long time. And mostly I don't look for dancers. I'm mostly interested in people that want to come dance the kind of work we do. So I haven't really had much longevity, although I like to audition dancers or check dancers out. But primarily most of the dancers that come have been training with me that understand my process, understand the work that I do, and that's typically we find the right personality, the right energy, and that's probably why some of those people stay around longer, because they have an invested interest in the type of work that we do and the way that I work, the process for which I work.
The advantage I find in working with Faith and working with the same people on a regular basis is that you, like Lindsay said, you have the ability to go into a rehearsal and what you accomplish in 2 or 3 hours, as opposed to developing this process over a week or 2 weeks, because of the fact that she can say, and then do this thing, and you'll just say, she'll say this thing, and then she'll do something, and you're like, oh yeah, that thing, and we'll know what that is, and we can just run right through it. So the development of a lot of the work that we do and the process that she's teaching, I slept back sometimes, I'm like, I have no idea what she's doing. I have no idea what it means. And then you get into it, you're like, oh yeah, that, got it. And then sometimes you're like, oh, why? That's weird. But at the same time, it's okay. And it's fun. And then later you realize, wow, that's fantastic. And you want to tell everybody about it and come see us dance.
And we work it out, and we've been dancing together for so long that our group had been working really well together, I feel.
Yeah. The best, for me,
we trust each other. We trust each other in partnering. We trust each other in catching us, in trying new things, and it's really fun. We know that I can totally trust
the partner that you're working with,
yeah,
and at the same
exciting.
time, I can trust the fact that if they have to lift me, I can get lifted. And it's weird to be the guy getting lifted when you're normally the guy lifting people, but it's awesome, and I love it.
I have a feeling that once we're performing with the musicians, then things will start to emerge that are like, oh yeah, that's a really special part.
Yeah.
It's a really special
As
part.
always does.
Yeah, and it always does. As I always say, we were going to Mojalet it, because
It always comes together.
Mojalet always
make it work.
pulls it together in sometimes a short amount of time, and it's crazy.
Most of the time in a short amount of time.
Most of the time in a short amount of time. It's like,
It's just how we
hey,
work.
we have a show in 3 weeks. Let's learn the material.
We work fast.
And we put it together, and it's like, oh, remember that one thing? Yeah, we're doing that. We're like, okay, video.
I think my favorite part about working with Rhythm Talk and Mojalet, of course, is the people. I think people make the project, and so to get to work together, and the fact that we have such a mutual respect for each other, and the idea that I can be open, I think I can be open, is a great opportunity, and probably the mutual the mutual respect we have is the key to having a great working relationship. I think we're starting to find that we can have different unique sounds for different works, and that's exciting. But I know that every time we are together on the stage, we share a unique experience. And so that's what I'm excited about, having one more opportunity. I feel like almost every time I dance, I don't take it for granted this could be the last time. This could be the last time we have the opportunity to do this together, whether it's finances or an illness or something. So I'm excited personally about having that opportunity.
I'm a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids. So just being able to move and, I don't know, experience I don't know, different music and emotions through body movement. I like it. It's very freeing, and it's, in this part of my life, it's kind of important because I need that time to sort of get out of my little world. So that's what dancing means to me now, but it changes. But right now it means a lot to me to get away. And
It's your escape.
it's my escape, and it is, and Faith often mentions like a lot of, I don't know, unfortunate life events that we kind of hear about, and people that we know are going through, and people experiencing difficulties physically. And so she reminds us often that we need to be very mindful about embracing our ability, and that we're able to move our bodies the way we are. And so for me right now in my life, that's something I try and think of when I come to rehearsal or dance, because it's not always easy to get here.
True story.
I don't know.
The part of dance I really enjoy is I like the end result. I like to perform and the whole anticipation, and then being on stage and then being with everyone and just being in the moment is really important to me. And just the end result, I just feel so good. Our completion, all that hard work, and reflecting back on all the hard work that we went through to get to that point, and seeing all those faces. I don't know, that's just exciting to me.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's a thrill.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, I like being in front of cameras. I like being on stages. I like being in front of people and entertaining. So in jest, I say that, but it's totally for real. Life is a stage for me, and I just like being on. And so dancing and having that experience and coming to rehearsal, and even when I'm exhausted and don't feel like being there, I see these people, and it's like right away, it's like my whole day's different. Like my day job, I'm a neuroscience researcher. I'm in a lab every day doing work, and yet I come to dance. And it's my escape. It's my flight. It's my freedom. It's my world.
I'd say take as many classes as you can from as many different types of people as you can and as many different genres as you can, because you know, when people pull from everything and everywhere, and so it's kind of fun when you're in a class and something comes up and you're like, oh, I got that style out of it. Like this is something that's somewhere in the back of my head. Plus you learn a lot and you meet a lot of really amazing people, and you see the similarities as well as the differences amongst, like, you know, when you're from ballet, modern, jazz, you know, they're all, you know, their own special things, but a lot of core things that are within the dance as well.
In the dance.
Yeah, but don't ever stop. It's always good. If it fills your heart, then just do it.
My greatest gift that was given to me was the ability to dance. As I'm older and I realize it's not really just about performing, it's about the process. It's about moving and appreciating my body, appreciating nature and interpersonal relationships with others. And my motto is that, you know, once you think you've reached the top, you're on your way down. So, or once you think you've arrived, you're on your way down. So I like to think that there's always something more I can learn and grow from. No matter where we are, we can always learn something new. And that every day is a gift. And we can't take for granted that tomorrow we get to dance. So those are the mottos for which I live by very faithfully.
We make now, we have 6 albums we make together, and the favorite song that we have is, of course, maybe the Canoe Travel. It's really a song we made. That's dum 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 dum. That's dum 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 dum. That dum 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 dum. That dum 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 dum. That's dum 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 dum. It's a piece that we play since 20 years, and the people can let me sing. Can sing that, you know. Maybe that I like, but I like other pieces also. Yeah.